Hi, I'm Alina.
And I'm Lydia.
Together, we created the checklist How to Get the Biggest ROI from Your Learning and Development Initiatives. Today, we wanted to take a few minutes to share with you why this checklist will save you time and frustration and how you can use it to get the most out of your learning and development projects.
We both work with HR professionals and leaders across many different industries, so we know firsthand how difficult it can be to design and deliver effective training. We also know that many companies are caught in a vicious cycle of losing great employees, feeling overworked and overwhelmed, all while trying to allocate limited resources to create a culture of purposeful learning that benefits both the employees and the company.
Right, and not having proper training and growth opportunities is among the top 5 reasons people leave companies. Lack of or poor training leads to mistakes, lost productivity, unhappy employees, high turnover, and increased business expenses. We know you understand the importance of learning and development programs, but because you have limited time, it can be so easy to set up a program without getting all the right pieces in place for it to be a success.
And that's exactly why we created this checklist to help you plan all key areas of your learning and development projects, which will save you money and time and frustration in the future and create the biggest return on your time and dollar investments. Having a checklist automates the planning process for you by forcing you to spend time thinking about addressing key areas and gathering data before you start the training. Treating learning and development projects just as that, a project, will help you make important decisions about what type of training your employees need, how to maximize employee engagement in the training process, and how to increase results and get a greater return. So let's review the checklist, Alina.
Yeah, the checklist is divided into 3 areas: before, during, and after, with the before section being the largest part. This is intentional. We often use success as the piece at the end of the something, such as finishing a race, but success actually starts at the very beginning, and it involves setting the foundation so that the project can achieve the desired results. And one of the key things to do before the training starts is to involve both senior leadership and employees in the process to get the buy-in and a sense of ownership. The more involvement you can generate, the more employees will feel heard and valued, and the more engaged in the process they will be.
Absolutely. And I want to expand on what you said about starting at the beginning. You should define the starting point and the desired end result, and then outline the gap that needs to be filled. You should have a clear and measurable definition of success. And this is especially important for the soft skills type of training, which can be more challenging to measure. So will you be using scales, surveys, skills tests, and what level of result will make the investment worthwhile? Some other good questions to ask are, what are the skills, behaviors, or tools the participant will gain? How can they apply them in the workplace? How will this benefit the individual and the organization? Identifying the desired end result will help you select the best type of training and the best training provider if you need one.
Yes, and this will also help you define and communicate clear expectations to the participants. What can they do to get the most out of the training? Are they expected to prepare in advance? Are they expected to set goals, maybe share progress with their managers, and among other things? Make sure that you give yourself ample time for planning. The more time and effort you invest upfront, the easier it will be later on.
That's so true. However, good planning isn't just set and forget. There are some valuable steps to take during the training. So the checklist guides you through these steps and helps you to stay agile and to course correct if needed by gathering feedback and creating a supportive environment that keeps employees engaged. And both participants and the facilitator are excellent sources of data for this. And then once the training is completed, it's time to measure progress, gather feedback, and evaluate the effectiveness of the training program. Alina, what's the best way to evaluate the training?
Well, in general, we recommend using the Kirkpatrick model is a framework for evaluating the results and calculating ROI for your training projects. It's a tool that's used worldwide, which consists of 4 levels of evaluation: reaction, learning, behavior, and results. So ask employees, what are some of the things that went really well? Maybe participants really enjoyed the hands-on facilitated activities. Maybe they found the style of facilitator really engaging. It's important to gather feedback as early as possible while the experience is still fresh in people's mind. Ask and capture how well was the training transmitted. To what extent did the employees learn the information or skills? Did they apply what they learned in their life or at work? and to what extent. So lastly, you want to measure overall results. Did you actually achieve the outcomes you set out? If you created clear, measurable outcomes and defined metrics for success, you should be able to gather the data you need to answer all of those questions.
So hopefully it's clear that you should do all the steps in the before, during, and after parts in order to achieve the biggest return on your training investments. We hope this checklist becomes your guide and makes planning for your next learning and development project a breeze.